号車から5号車です。京都出ます途中、名古屋、浜松、静岡、新横浜、品川に停まります。今日も新幹線ご利用くださいましてありがとうございます。
So here we are, we're inside the Hikari Shinkansen. We're traveling from Kyoto to Tokyo, which is about 461 kilometers. The top speed for the Hikari Shinkansen is about 270 kilometers an hour, but obviously with stops and going through some towns, we don't average that speed during the entire trip. As you can see, the interior is very much like an airplane, which means that if I didn't tell you that we were on a train, then you wouldn't actually think we might actually be on an airplane. Room for baggage is plentiful. If you look above us, we've got two of our bags on top here. We've got a large bag and a smaller bag. But what I'll do is I'll try to give you a little bit of a tour of the inside of a Shinkansen. Okay, right now I'm standing in between car 11 and car 12 on the Hikari Shinkansen as we make our way to Tokyo Station. What I want to do is give you a little bit of a tour through a couple of the cars so that you can see the differences between what's available to you between cars 11 and 12, between 12 and 13, 14 and 15, and so on. So what we have here in between cars 11 and cars 12 is a multi-purpose room. But what we have is a multi-purpose room, and if we push the button to open, you can see it's got everything you could possibly need, from a sink and a vanity to a washroom, a change area for your baby, basically anything that you would need. There's a couple of the multi-purpose rooms available here between car 11 and 12, and obviously if they're occupied, they'll have the red light on like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep walking between the cars so that you can see the different things that are available to you on the Shinkansen. And of course there's private washrooms and everything along those lines. Garbage bins are available. And now we're going to do a walk through the cars. I'm not going to talk. I don't want to disturb the people as they're riding along the train. So as you can see, as I walked through car 12, we made it into between car 12 and 13, I was actually met by a woman who actually goes along with the car and sells food, snacks, actually souvenirs, things along those lines to the passengers. I think she's come by 2 or 3 times in the hour and a half to 2 hours that we've been on the train. We're going to continue now through car 13 to the section between 13 and 14 and take a look at the differences there. And as we pass, we'll go by a conductor who's actually checking people's tickets who got on at the last stop to make sure everybody's in the right seats, because this is a reserved train. So now we're between cars 13 and 14, and what you'll see is there's a little bit of difference between the last cars where the multi-purpose rooms were to these rooms. There are washrooms in between these cars, but they're a little bit different. What you'll see is we also have the garbage area. The washrooms are a little smaller than they were in between the other cars, but they have what they call vanity areas where you can use the sink, the mirror, and get yourself ready or refreshed between the rides. There is a men's only washroom which has a urinal, and then a men's and women's washroom. Now we'll walk between cars 14 and 15 and take a look at the differences between those cars. So here we are in between cars 14 and 50. Now you'll notice at the top of the sign for each car it says no smoking. But what's interesting about the Shinkansen is that they have what they call little smoking rooms. With the touch of a button, a smoker can enter into the smoking room where there are going to be vents at the bottom where their ashtray is, and then more vents at the top to take out the smoke. Now, being inside the chamber here, I can definitely smell cigarette smoke, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, when I step back outside into the car, I will not be able to smell any smoke at all. So here I am back outside of the door. As you can see, it closes automatically. I cannot smell any cigarette smoke, although when I was inside the booth, I could. Obviously then in cars 14 and cars 15, which are adjacent to the smoking area, they also do not smell any of the cigarette smoke. So here we are between cars 15 and 16. Once again, we have private washrooms. We have the vanity areas where people can get refreshed. And then what we also have is a phone. For those people who don't have mobile phone service or smartphones or don't have service in this area, they do offer phones on the Shinkansen for people to use. So those are basically the differences between what you'll find between cars here on the Shinkansen. So we saw multi-purpose rooms which had baby changing areas, they had washrooms, they had vanities within them, very large areas where basically any of your needs could be met. We saw smaller style washrooms where they're just like airplane type laboratories that you would find. We saw vanity areas with mirrors and sinks where you can get yourself refreshed. We saw a telephone that people can use if they don't have mobile phone service in the area that they're traveling with the Shinkansen, or they might not even have a cellular phone. And then we also saw between two of the cars that there's smoking pods that are available that are very self-contained and do limit the cigarette smoke being experienced by passengers on either side. Lots of things to experience and see on the Shinkansen. Obviously, the speed, the comfort, and all of that is what makes the Shinkansen very enjoyable. So as we travel towards Tokyo, I hope you've enjoyed this brief tour of the inside of the Shinkansen.